And we'll get started here. Good morning again, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well and having an amazing morning. Make sure this is muted over here. And it's not. There it is now mute. And we got that taken care of. Close that. So much stuff going on. How was everybody's weekend? Man, did we have an amazing conversation yesterday. Holy macaroni. Let's see if Angie's on here.
Yes, I am.
There you are. How are you feeling, girl?
I'm feeling amazing.
That was an amazing conversation we had yesterday with you. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course, of course.
Have you had any other little awakenings or awarenesses that have showed up that have added to that conversation from yesterday?
I shared the story again with like some of my team, like my business partners, and it just made me realize. Not made me realize, but that's gonna be my new thing, Wonderland. So from now on, that's for anybody that I tell my presentation or anything, like I'm just gonna show them Wonderland.
Isn't that cool?
Yes.
All out of the mouth of babes, the things that we can learn. That's very cool. Congratulations. Let's see. Yeah, it was a good weekend calls. So that being said, if you've got your messages sent out, let me go ahead and click over here on the chat. Good morning, everybody. Go ahead and send out your 3 messages. Let me know when you're done, or if you want to let me know when you're done, we can do that. What else? So let's see. Monday. I didn't know it was spring break here in Texas, or at least for us here, it was in spring break. Yeah, because I'm like, Mason, you got to go to bed last night. He's like, why? I go, because you need sleep. He goes, well, all right. And Michelle's like, well, he doesn't have school tomorrow. I go, why didn't he have school tomorrow? It's spring break. So, conversations. Anybody have any other ahas or awarenesses or awakenings that's happened with them, to them, through them? Uh-oh, this is going to be good. Go ahead. Good morning, RBP.
So I listened to the call yesterday and wow, man.
Anaya.
I would say something like I missed it, but here's what's crazy, and I'll go really quickly. While y'all were on the call at the very exact same time y'all were on the call, I'm in church, and the sermon that Pastor brought was it was titled "This Is Us," and we went over 3 different points as to what makes who we are at our church, and it was perfectly in line with what y'all were doing, which I thought this was so cool. Y'all's was much more entertaining, I think, because it was really pretty cool to think an 8-year-old or a 7-year-old little girl was mentoring all of us, and I loved that. And I'm impressed that Angie had the wherewithal to sit in the moment. And I wanted to add to that. I'm sitting here looking at my notes, and these are the questions that I wrote down from the sermon that we were having while y'all were on your call. This is so cool. The first part is, when we step into our exceptional qualities, God can send his blessings and begin to use us in our purpose. And I wrote down, can I create an environment where people want to celebrate and enjoy? Do I create an atmosphere of celebration around me? What can I celebrate that's right in front of me? How can I celebrate with people constantly? Everyone wants to be celebrated. How do I create a place that looks like Jesus and is so much fun? Can I be in joy constantly? And do I count it a blessing to love life and that I'm awake again? And can I so love life that nothing can get me down? Do people discover freedom around me? Do people see, feel, and hear love around me? If I walk in forgiveness, people will find love and freedom and enjoy and God when near me. And I wrote down, measure what you do by asking, is God first? And what is first in my life? And I thought, holy freaking moly, that these are all the questions that came to me at the exact same time y'all were having that. So it's pretty darn cool when I was listening to y'all and going through this. And I went back and I was doing my notes this morning while I was finishing up the call before I got on this call. And I thought, man, God's so good. He made sure we all got that message no matter where we were or what we were doing. So I was thrilled because I sent, right after church, I sent Shawn a note. Well, actually, it was during church, I think. I sent Shawn a note and I gave him a verse, and it made me think of him. And he wrote back, you should listen to the call this morning. And so I did with my notes in front of me. And man, y'all bless me. That Anaya, wow, what an amazing little girl. And Angie, for you to sit right there with her and go through that, I'm like, I want to go to Wonderland. I don't want to be left out. And then here I am in church, basically getting the same exact message. And it's just, can we be in joy no matter where we are? So I just wanted to share that with y'all. I thought it was crazy what my notes were like compared to y'all's.
It was, I mean, yeah. And when you sent me that psalm, it was like, yeah, there's, I'll be interested to see how parallel the conversations were. So.
Did you look it up and read it?
Oh yeah, right away. I even said it. So here's the funny thing. You'll get a kick out of this. So we do a lot of yard work yesterday. And so when we were taking breaks, I'd sit back and I'd take this big exhale thinking about Anaya and Angie and the whole story and with your psalm. And then, so we go back to work and Michelle's like, we're both tearing up sitting there at the table in the back, the patio table. And about 5 minutes into us, like, it's time to go back to work kind of deal. I'm like 5 feet away from her, 10 feet away from her. Michelle kind of giggles. And I go, what are you laughing at? She goes, no, I'm like, what are you laughing at? She goes, listen, she goes, I don't know if I make a good preacher's wife.
That's awesome.
I go, what are you talking about? She goes, well, the way these calls keep going and the people that keep having conversations, I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, we'll worry about that later. So anyone else have some ahas or awarenesses from Wonderland yesterday? Brittany, I'd be curious to a little, not off topic, but on topic, social map, how your event went. And with your friend when you guys went to that networking event, if there was anything unique that happened to you.
Maybe. So the way that the event, first of all, good morning, everybody. Sorry. So the way that the event worked, we were supposed to bring a gift and exchange it with someone who we felt like just connected to, you know? Mm-hmm. So we got there fashionably late, like an hour and a half, and which is still good because it was a very long event. So we're like, man, like we're walking around, we're like, we got to get rid of these gifts, but like we're talking to people, but I don't really feel like I want to give them my gifts, you know? So there was this one other girl that was there. And so in social settings, I go as Bree. Sometimes I go as Brittany, but most of the time I go as Bree because there are thousands of Brittany in the world, so it can get confusing. So she had on this really nice outfit, and I, to myself, also had on a really nice outfit, if I must say, toot toot, my own horn. So I walked up to her and I was just like, I really loved your outfit. I'm gonna give you my gift. And she's like, okay, cool. Like, what's your name? And I was like, Bree. And she was like, my best friend's name is Bree. And I was like, what? That's crazy. And then so like later on, her friend came to the event and she was like, hey, Bree, meet Bree. And I'm like, oh my God, hi, I'm Bree, you know? And then for some strange reason, we started talking about astrology. And it turns out that the girl who I gave my gift to, her birthday's like 3 days before mine. And we just like share all these similarities, and like we followed each other on social media. So we've been like chatting back and forth. And oh, wait, this kind of is crazy. So we've been chatting back and forth, and she got me like this little book. So I was like, thank you so much for the book. I'm so grateful for it. And she was like, you know what? I went back and I bought the same book for myself. So I'm about to read it. And every night we're going to update each other on how we feel about reading the book. So I was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? But like, I didn't really think nothing about it, but I'm like, wow, like I just added a new, wow, that's crazy. Like a whole new like accountability partner for my personal / spiritual development. And I always say like every day, like, I'm so happy and grateful now that new successful leaders come into my business. I was like, I create lifelong relationships. Like I filled out this little business thing, and they asked like, what did I do? And I said, I create lifelong relationships. That's literally what I put. Because I was like, yeah, you know, I don't want to say that I do this and that because that's lame. Like, I want to say that I create lifelong relationships because that's what Shawn taught me. So, yeah, that's what happened.
How
I don't
cool
know if
is
that's
that?
exciting or not.
Oh,
but-
it is. Absolutely. Listen, Linda, listen. You've been networking for how many years? Half a dozen?
Literally my whole life.
Right. So your whole life. And in a 2-hour event, you find an accountability partner on a particular book to help you with your spiritual and social.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Accountability partner, somebody you didn't know 10 minutes ago.
Did not know. Wow, the universe, the world is wild. I love it.
So welcome to Wonderland. You know what the price is for entry? Free. Show your butt up. Wonderland is everywhere. That's huge. Listen, how many of us believe we know, we have a good understanding of Brittany? If you think Brittany is somebody that's just going to let somebody into her life after a 10-minute conversation, if you don't think that's normal, like drop a B in the chat. If you think Brittany's like, well, everybody's stupid. It's you know, I'll give them the benefit of their doubt. I'm glad they made it. I'm glad they made it out of bed this morning. And now all of a sudden you found this somebody, a similar soul, somebody who believes in you, somebody who wants you to believe in them. Welcome to Wonderland. How cool is that? Yeah, it's bigger. I think as it's settling in on you, that's a pretty big thing. Congratulations on that. Anyone else have a little aha awareness or awakening? Something as simple as that, which is pretty darn big.
Good morning, Shawn.
Good morning, Manny.
How was your weekend, sir?
Outstanding.
Spectacular, spectacular. So happy to hear that. I don't know what it would categorize as, right? But it was just so crazy to me. It was so crazy. But I trade, right?
Right.
So on Friday, I had my most profitable trade ever. And I did a very rookie mistake, and it slipped through my hands, and I actually ended up losing that plus some capital. So obviously I was upset, right? I threw a baby fit, and it kind of affected my mood and blah 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 blah. Cool. So I'm trying to stomach it, and I'm trying to, bear through it because I was upset. And then later throughout the day, there's this gentleman who contacts me via Instagram. He's not he's in our organization, but he's not in my like direct team. And I guess he just feels comfortable, and he's just someone who vents to me, and I guess someone you can the world would categorize as unpopular. So he vents to me, he vents to me, he reaches out, he says this, he says that. And that happened about 4 in the afternoon. And then around 8, he contacted me and he's like, hey, what's going on, bro? He's like, I hope you had a good Friday. And he's like, I'm kind of down because, I had a very profitable trade and I didn't put my stop loss and profit, and I ended up losing some of my capital. So I'm kind of down. And I was like I couldn't fathom, like, what are the like, I still can't word it. Like, so how do I tell this guy, right, that he's probably more down than I am, and he's probably affected more by it more than I am? How do I tell him it's gonna be okay, don't worry about it, if I haven't processed those same emotions yet? So it was like the universe or God, he was like, listen, get over it. All right, get over it. Look, this guy, he went through the same thing, and he's probably more hurt by it than you are. So I had to tell him, I'm like, listen, it's okay, man. Don't worry about it. It happens. We need to learn from our mistakes. And it kind of forced me to process my own emotions so I could give him honest advice. And it was just so super crazy to me how it was the very same exact thing that I did at the very same exact day, just a couple hours later. And the universe made me stomach it so I can give honest advice to somebody else.
That's pretty powerful, right? So you stub your toe, and then all of a sudden your child falls down, starts crying, your toe no longer hurts. Right?
Yep.
When we organize our priorities and where we get to give, that's what this message, that's what I believe, that's what I was hearing. The message that you had to deal with was your ability to give, because you were trying to take in the misery. Well, oh, pain, it's me. Why did somebody recognize me? And it was like, you know what? I just needed to recognize me, and now I need to recognize somebody else. Good job, Manny, because that may not have been the case not so long ago, where your misery, his misery would have crawled down his leg, ran across the floor and up yours, and the both of you would have been complaining about how you did silly stuff and could have done better and blah, blah, blah. But he's calling you for a pat on the back, a little arm around the shoulder, going, okay, let's go back out. It's halftime. We're going in the locker room. We'll get taped back up, and let's go back out there. Good job, brother. Good job.
Shawn.
Yes. Hey, Michael. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. Do you mind if I tell you a mini breakthrough I had?
You know I don't.
All right, perfect. So, this was actually really cool. It's kind of like with my relationship with God, I'd say. And I told Ronda this. I actually messaged her and told her that ever since I've been getting on these calls and actually understanding God more, that it's like crazy how you're able to really start to build a connection with him that you actually understand. So that's what I thought was really cool. And
so wait, whoa, slow down. Because you said a powerful phrase that relates to everything in life. Create a connection that you can finally understand.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, isn't that every breath of life, every instant, every second with a prospect? Creating a connection that you can understand, letting them create a connection they can understand. When they say no to you, rejection is a change of direction. I get it, but it still sometimes rips our heart out. But creating a connection, because if we're all made, right, if we're all made in his image, and if we're all connected, if we all come from the same source, we're all connected, we all have this desire, we're designed as human beings to absolutely have a connection. You just said something extraordinarily powerful. I don't know that I've heard it put in those words. I definitely haven't ever heard it put in those words with your energy. I'd soak on that one for a little bit. To create a connection, you finally understand. You're getting to understand. Because here's the reality. Was it always there?
It was always there. It was always there.
Always. The
Yeah.
connection is always there. Just like Brittany found the connection with that person that, oh my God, we're born on the same day. What if they weren't born on the same day? Do you think that led to there being a reason to understand each other a little bit more? So, dude, go on. That was a bomb that dropped. In my head, I heard these fireworks go off. So
well, that's how I feel right now. It feels like fireworks going off, like inside. Like it's like holy cow. Like, so I don't know. I'm working on my relationship with God, and like it's obviously going in the right direction. So that's what I wanted to tell you as my aha moment.
Dude, that's a hallelujah moment.
It was.
So be aware of this. As you go along this journey, as you continue on this path, right? Because the connection was there. Because if it never was there, it couldn't have started unless you start to look for it, right? You found the thread, and now you're finding the thread, and it's turned into a bigger thread, and then it's turned into a little rope, and then it's going to turn into whatever else it turns in as that connection strengthens. Just be aware of the people that are going to go, dude, come on, you don't need that, right? The enemy shows up, and you're going to keep coming across moment after moment. You're going to hear stories. I don't know. I would encourage everyone, if you weren't on yesterday's call, I would truly encourage you to go back and listen to the Wonderland call with Angie, because Angie came on and thought, oh, well, I don't know if this is really anything. And it's become a staple in my life. Something 24 hours ago, not even 24 hours ago, right? Something that powerful that happened, that she created, that she had the opportunity to say yes. She had the opportunity to say no. She chose yes. And the thing that hit me yesterday was that she said, I'm closing my eyes and there's 20 other kids around that I'm supposed to be watching. That never dawned on me. But then all of a sudden, because they were doing that, all these other kids instantly showed up and they said, we want to go to Wonderland. So dude, I'm so proud of you. Thank you for having the courage to share that. Right? Because that's not something those aren't phrases that typically come out. You're not going to see, at least in the social media I see, where people are going, hey, listen, I just found my connection with my higher source, with God. So dude, I applaud you. I commend you. I'm sure I see a big old smile up there in the left-hand corner. RBP, any comments?
Michael and I visited briefly about all this, and I'm over here just taking notes. And I love that you said that create a connection that you can understand, because I heard the same thing, Shawn. And that not only have you found, well, ultimately you found your connection with God even deeper, Michael, but this is going to make you have a connection with everybody, and it's going to make you stand out, and people are going to wonder why you are different and why you shine so much brighter when you walk in the room. And then to think you have that smile to go with it. Oh my gosh. I'm so happy for you. I can't even contain myself. So I love you. I'm so glad you reached out and told me this too. It made my day getting messages like that from you. So thanks for including me too.
No problem, Rhonda. I love doing it too. It made me feel good as well.
This is so cool. Awesome job. What a great way to start a Monday, right? And here's the neat thing. Listen, I was on the Wonderland call yesterday. Well, that was the start of my day. But then I was on Saturday, and that started my day. So one of the things that maybe I'm hearing it to share with you is, it's just to start the day. It's not to start the week. It's not to change. It's not to think that there was an end of something and a beginning of something else. I know I ask sometimes, And people ask me, people send me messages going, you know, I've been on your calls for 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, a year. And every call, somewhere in the call, most of the calls, there's some flat calls. I don't say they're flat. They're better than most average calls. But how do they just keep advancing? How do they just keep growing to a new level? I mean, we have a call like this, and then wow, we have a call like that, and then wow, we have a call like that, and then wowzer, we have. It's because y'all are doing it. It's because y'all are doing it. How does Bree show up at an event and all of a sudden have an accountability person? Because she showed up. Right? How does Angie have this little amazing package of wonder and wellness and wishes, and look, God incarnate standing there and going, hey, you want to go to Wonderland? This is the community that your community is looking for. As you bring this out to your teams, as you bring this out to your family, as you bring this out to people you quote randomly, coincidentally bump into, I call them Godcidences, right? That's God's way of staying anonymous, is coincidence. These things that are happening, you're making the world a better place. 100%, bar none. People who sit next to you on the train, on the plane, on the bus. People who bump into you down the street, they bump shoulders and they go, oh, I'm sorry. No, that's okay. Have a good day. It changes their makeup. And it allows you, Manny's story, given the opportunity to absolutely, beyond a shadow of a doubt, understand where somebody's at, because they did the same trade on the same day with the same results, with the same shortcomings and the same long learnings. With shortcomings come long learnings. Y'all are doing this. I sit here and watch as somebody who's absolutely proud as a peacock to watch each of you sprout your own awareness and awakenings. Good morning, Angie. Go ahead, raise your hand is raised. And listen, folks, if you can see the hands raised, that's about the size of her hand. She's a peanut.
Just continue on with Wonderland. Like, the more and more I think about it, is like a big turning point in my life, I would say, because it's such a big moment. I mean, a small moment, but it's so huge at the same time. And like today, I'm so excited because I'm gonna make a video with her. So I'm gonna send it to all of you, anybody I can to, just so you guys can see her face and always smiling and everything. But the more and more I think about Wonderland, the more and more I want to be in it. I feel so good. Like today and from now on, I'm gonna be in Wonderland every day. Like, no matter what, even if I'm down, I'm going to remind myself at that moment with her, Wonderland, stay in Wonderland all the time. So it's just amazing how much one individual can have such a turning point in your life. And not even think about it, I'm like, a 2nd-year-old was the one individual that turned my life around.
So there's so many stories that come to my mind. One of them is faith of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. And you said the story is so small. It's just a simple thing. It's Wonderland. It's a lot of letters, but it's only 2 syllables. 3 syllables. And it's so tiny. It is so tiny, but it is so big. Because she gave you Wonderland, right?
Yes.
And let's use Jim Rohn's phrase on this statement. When you left, a little bit of her went with you. And a little bit of her went with, a little bit of you went with her, and a little bit of her went with you. Mm-hmm. And then look what you did with the little bit of her that went with you. You gave it to all of us. And now we all are Wonderland fanatics. Right? And people who weren't even on the call show up on the call and go, funny, I was getting the same Wonderland message when I was sitting where I was sitting. And that's because of you, Angie. And what's your name mean? Messenger?
Of God.
Exactly. And Anaya is the word of God from Hebrew. Yeah. Coincidences. That's awesome. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Yeah, can't wait. Please, again, send her blessings. She's mentoring people at such a level. Yeah, and again, if you're hearing this and you're going, man, that sounds cool, I would encourage you. It wasn't a extra long call yesterday, but go back and listen to Sunday's call, episode 380, I guess it was. It was pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
I'll FaceTime you today, Shawn, so you can meet her.
Aw, you get to meet Anaya. How cool. Awesome. Let's see. If anybody else has something that pops into their head and you're sitting there going, I'm not quite 100% sure. Money moves only. Go ahead.
What's up, Shawn? It's me, Nano.
Oh my goodness. Good morning, Nano.
How are you?
Outstanding, brother.
I'm doing great. I just wanted to share something with you guys. First off, I love everything you guys are doing with Wonderland. That's amazing. I was actually on the call yesterday, so I had the pleasure of actually listening into it, and just hearing about it just makes me so happy. Just hearing everybody's breakthrough, watching Ronda's growth has been so inspiring. Just seeing where we all started back in June and just seeing her growth now is so awesome. But I keep getting this voice in my head, Shawn, that keeps telling me I need to build a better relationship with God. And I've been wondering why this voice keeps coming into my head and just keeps telling me, build a relationship with God, build a relationship with your higher self. And the reason why I haven't taken any action on it is because I have no idea what the process is like. I wanted to ask for some help because there's some things I'm dealing with, and I feel like that voice is the answer to what I'm dealing with, but I have no idea how to start. And I wanted to see if you or anyone on this call can help me out with that, because it's something that I'm really looking to take action on sometime this week.
Well, I'll share with you from my neophyte understanding. And then of course we've got, the RBP in the room. So I would just start, because there's no wrong way to start. The only thing that's causing that connection that Michael has to be delayed is the start. Prayer, reading. One of the things that started with me was I got a devotional. Ronda sent me a devotional, but it's little daily activities. It's listening to conversations like what Angie shared, and being aware that Wonderland is just God's way of teaching a 7-year-old how to talk about the glory of creativity, the glory of openness and opportunity, the Holy Spirit showing up and saying, whatever you want, just ask for it. Go to Wonderland. That's her way out. So, yeah, it's a powerful conversation. Madame RBP.
Good morning again. Nano, I love you. Oh my gosh, I just want to hug you again. I can't wait till I see you in person again. I just want to hug you right. I know I want to hug you right now. You have my cell phone, right? You still have my number?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so we'll have a conversation outside of this. And Shawn is right. I want you to text me when you're capable of talking. And I want you to also text me your address, a mailing address. And I'm going to get you a few things and get you taken care of. But he's right. It just begins with a few little things. And we can go in more detail over that together. But you need to pay attention to this voice like you're doing. And you need to give it the time that it needs so you can hear everything you're supposed to hear. There's a reason. I don't know the reason. I'll be praying about that reason, but we need to connect. If you're free today sometime, let me know, because the sooner we connect, the sooner we can get on this path.
Yeah, we're definitely going to connect today 100%.
Okay. Okay. You just text me when you're free. And also, like I said, text me your address and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I'll text you around lunchtime. Lunchtime is the best time for me.
Okay. That's perfect. I love you. I'm excited to talk to you.
Love you too, Rhonda. Thank you so much, Shawn, as well.
Bet, brother. Love you tons. And
Love you
so
more,
here's
brother.
the thing that happens, folks. The word we get to carry, the words you're going to say today, it doesn't matter what words they are. The vibration that your mouth creates and your tongue and your teeth and all of that stuff creates a vibration, and it comes out in an audible sound. Sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. But what is the source of those words? If you get down to it, what is your source of those words? I go back to it's Anaya. The source of our words come from our genius. It does. We talked yesterday that Anaya is this genius who's walking around inviting people to Wonderland. Can you imagine how many people? And she, oh, by the way, FYI, she lives in a shelter. And so they come to school. That's maybe the meal they get. That's maybe the only time they get to really hang around with kids. And all of the things that we could say, man, her life is not that good. It could be better. It could be this. How many shelters have they moved to? All of these things we can fall into the instant of misery or frustration or aggravation or pity. Yet she found somebody that she could be in service to, and gave Angie, who just said on this call, it's a life-changing moment, as simple as it was. I say this to you, we are given the greatest gift in our profession to go out and have a conversation with people to help them find their Wonderland. Because Anaya didn't say, come to my Wonderland. She says, do you want to go to Wonderland? It was a brilliant unfolding yesterday of dialogue and conversation, and watching Angie realize the grace and the greatness with which she was experiencing during that moment as she relived it. How many of your prospects, how many of the people you're about to have a conversation with will feel like they went to amazing Wonderland? That's it. We're all taught this lesson. It's crazy. Good morning, Anthony. I see you popping.
I want to say something, but it's like you're preaching, so like I have
Go ahead. No, come on.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I had no idea, Wonderland. My friend Kyrie posted this on the chat, and I just had to jump in. I was hearing everybody's story. I'm like, wow, these people are very motivated, very passionate, very loving people. When I keep hearing God, I'm like, wow, see, that is true what you say about God. He guides you around good people, and it's like, I forgot this man's name, but it was Chris, and he was having this I explain this to my friend all the time, and she's like my new best friend, and she's my accountability partner, and I'm her accountability partner. And I don't know how it happened, but when a wavelength connects to somebody, when you're so connected to someone, and you got that responsibility with each other, it just happens, and that's what happened between me and her. Like, she is to me what my cousin used to be to me. My cousin in Baltimore, me, him, he teach me everything, and it's like he taught me about government. We always was open into conspiracy, all the above. But me and him would break it down, chop it down all the time. So when I'm with her, it's like we talk about everything. And also we hold ourselves accountable to things we do. And that's beautiful how you guys talk about that. But yeah, like the reason why I want to say something, because you're definitely right. When you speak, I was always willing to talk to people. I did sales, marketing, I knocked on doors, all the above, different jobs. And it wasn't really cutting off for me. So when I got to meet people that work with foreign exchange, when I got to people that made, airport stocks, they were just different people. Their mindsets were somewhere else. They were open to anything and everything. And I'm just here sitting like, wow, I'm going to friends, people I don't even know these people's names. I'm going to their houses with my friend. Her name is Irene. She's the one I recently met. And, I'm going to these houses. I'm getting invited. And I'm just hearing these stories. I'm there like, wow, like how could people, like, where was I for the last 5 years? Who was I around? And I kept telling myself, everyone that I'm around with don't like feeding me knowledge. Just nonsense. Everybody's getting into nonsense. So I started telling myself, I'm gonna surround myself around successful, genuine people, and that's what started happening. My grandmother told me to start praying. My mother told me to start praying. They're both Christian, but two different views. You know, one is Jehovah's mother. My grandmother, where she goes. So I'm an actor. See, this is the thing when it comes to remembering things. Like, and they're still Christian, and Christian is a Christian. You know, you believe in Jesus, you believe in God, and they told me to start praying. So literally 2 months ago, I started praying and praying and praying, and I just kept telling myself, and I didn't say, I want good for myself, because I kept telling God, yo, watch over my mother, my father, my brothers, my friends. Give me a sign. Just give me a sign. Show me that there's still light somewhere, and I'm here now. Like, it's insane. Like, this is wild. This is really
So a couple of things, right, that come out of that, Anthony, is careful what you wish for. But what you wish for, it'll show up. And then when it shows up, be aware that it's something that you asked for. Be aware that, listen, here's a funny thing. For 7 years, that little soul, Anaya, who Angie met, was always around. This position that Angie took to go do and work with these kids, that position always existed. It's what we say yes to, but more importantly, it's what we say no to. Right? The idea is, so I one of the things you guys have heard me say a lot, be more by doing less. Do less and become more. And when we sit down and we spoke about listening to Wonderland and that story of this little 7-year-old teaching us all, we were doing less. We were just focused on Wonderland, but we all became so much more. And you've been praying here for the last months, and all of a sudden things start showing up, and friends of accountability start showing up, because the world, I'm telling you, the world needs you guys. The world needs each and every one of you. Listen, there's a certain audience, and it's getting smaller, for people to go, where's a 54-year-old white guy from Texas that I go hang out and listen to? But when they see the colors of the flag that of the people that are part of my community, they're like, how do you connect with these people? Because we're a psychographic, not a demographic. We're a way people think and communicate and love, not a race and religion. And I'm not Dominican from, it's just, I've had worldly experiences of the places I've been that I can at least have a conversation. But there's absolutely no way, if somebody was to go, who's your avatar? Very few of you fall into my avatar. But all of us fall into each other's avatar for people who are of a psychographic, not a demographic. So it's just amazing.
That's amazing. I'm definitely writing that down. Wow.
Yeah.
Demographic. That's an amazing. Now, you guys been saying some interesting stuff. That's why I was keeping my mouth shut. But once, as I seen, as you were leaving the door open for people to talk more, I was like, let me just say something. Let me get my input in.
Listen, you're here for a reason. You're here to teach us all. This ain't a monologue, and this ain't a dictatorship. This is a conversation. This is a true mastermind of what are we doing? Where are we at? How can we go make the world a little bit better? And it's okay if we start with your world. It's okay if we start with your world.
And I would like to say too, like that being true, like everyone here that's having a bad time and looking at life in the darkest angle, I'm gonna let you know right now, wherever there's a cave, if you're in a cave, there's a light. You just gotta find it. So, in that being said, talk to people. In the world that we live in now, it's gonna be crazy. And I heard this song, and I was thinking in my brain, like, dang, didn't I write this song? But you know what it is? It's just I can relate to the song so much. It's more like Jesus himself, and it's crazy, like it's how I'm viewed through, because that's how the person said it in the song. I'm like, wow, this is really powerful how this guy said it. And it's a rock song, and I'm like, dude, this dude is talking about something no one's supposed to, people regularly don't talk about. He's saying that when Jesus left us, we're here supposed to continue his words and open each other up, but people have become systematically trapped and pushed away in a sociopathical way where people connect and they can't talk to each other properly. And that's most of the population. And the ones that actually do talk to each other and help each other grow, you know, they circle themselves in, but they're willing to grab, you know, hold on to each other and, you know, help others. Those that need to seek to find help, talk to each other. Your best therapy is somebody that can be right next to you. You know, someone that's able to, you know, okay, I can really speak to this person and really like relate and tell them all my problems. Even if you don't know them, for some reason, you tell them, there's gonna be someone out there's gonna listen. They're just gonna listen, like, okay. And you never know. Opportunity, the door is always there. You could think you just said, can I get your name? I do apologize.
That's all right. My name's Shawn Murphy.
Shawn Murphy. Nice to meet you, Shawn Murphy.
It's a privilege and an honor, brother.
I bumped into people and like how you said, oh no, God bless you. So you know, it's okay if you bumped into me. God, we bumped into a reason, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, even they walk away, they don't stop for conversation. That's cool. As long as I let them know that you're okay, God got you. God got all of us. And you know, we all have to just level set our minds. We all got prioritized. We all got to stay organized. Like, think when you wake up first thing in the morning, meditate. Just meditate. Literally 5 minutes. Clear your mind. Because when you wake up, you had a bad dream. Either you want to tell that dream, but you know, clear your mind first and then talk about it. But you know, just clear your mind. Think about the first thing you're gonna do. Your first 21 seconds of your day is gonna judge your day. So if you go on your phone and you see something negative, you don't want to watch that. Literally, get up, read a book. Or get up, and if you go on your phone, go straight to your notes. If you have to have notes everywhere, your phone, notebook, journal, wherever. You have to have sticky tags sticking everywhere. If you have a dream chart, look at your dream chart. Remember what you're doing this for. Listen, life is short. We live in a world that's systematically trapped. I'm not trying to point fingers at no government on the above. There's always something hidden. There's always something that we don't understand. If you have a dream, follow that dream. Consider yourself, consider others, and remember to stay positive. That's all you got. Positivity is the way out. Thank you, Shawn.
Anthony, so a couple of things. One, this is like the very first time we've ever encountered each other. So let me share a couple of things that just came to me. I'm going to ask you to figure out a way to fill your cup up a little bit more. And here's why I say that. Because you just got on, you mentored to 64 people. You gave away some amazing nuggets that people are absolutely falling in love with. This is your quote first time here. It ain't the first time you've ever said this stuff or shared this stuff. But what I was feeling is that you absolutely have this massive desire to make the world a better place. I'm going to ask you to find ways to ensure that you never run out of this gift. Take some time. If you have a coffee today, if you happen to go to a Starbucks or something, say, this is for me overcoming because you're not fearful at all. This is for me raising my hand going, I'm not even sure why I'm talking on this call. I just got invited to it. All of a sudden I'm hearing some stuff and I want to sink in time and space with these folks. Give yourself find a way today to give yourself a little bit. This was for me having a conversation on Shawns Call this morning. And the reason I say that is because you have an incredible source. Sometimes it runs a little closer to empty. And it's not that you ever change your desire to give. It's sometimes the essence with which you give it. There's just this tiredness to possibly the word. Most people won't see it. Most people won't even pick up on it because they're not at your level. They're not at your vibration level. So all I'm saying is I absolutely am in awe and in honor and love you to death because you're one of the world changers with everybody else on here. That's why you show up in this vibration and you show up on a business call, a daily awakening business call with somebody who stood on stage in 30 countries, translated into over 40 languages, has a group of 30,000 people. And I'm here looking to how can I help people build their business? And we get taught by an 8-year-old, a 7-year-old who teaches everybody, all of us yesterday to go to Wonderland. And we've been talking about it. You show up on here and say, hey, listen, if you had a crappy dream take 5 minutes. I'm going to encourage you. Sometimes the message we're giving out is sometimes the message we need to hear. I'm going to ask you to take yours. Make sure you take 5 minutes for you because I need you in this world. I want you on my wall. I need you on my wall. So what a, yeah.
Shawn, thank you. That was amazing. I'm definitely, wow. I feel very inspirational. Like I feel positive right now. I feel pumped and like that what you just said gave me goosebumps because it's more like, wow, holy. It's like
because most people, because you're the one given, most people can't talk into you. They're going, what am I going to tell Anthony? What am I going to tell Anthony? What am I going to tell him? He's pouring into me. So I feel it. Here's the good news. I've been doing this long enough that I know that it's coming in, but I'm also knowing, dude, this guy, I don't ever want him to lose his source. I don't want him to ever say, you know what? Screw this. I'm done giving to the world. You just showed up here this morning without fear, without trepidation. I'm sure Ronda can come up with 13 Bible verses that speak to that you showed up without fear and you stood in front of the enemy and said, I'm not sure who these people are, but they seem like a bunch of crazy souls just like me. And let's have a conversation. And I'm going to speak from my heart, not my head, because I really don't care if they like me or not. But there's something about this group that's like, it's off. And we're all off. That's why we call ourselves misfits. We don't quite fit in out there, but here. So, dude, welcome. Great to have you here. Thanks for showing up today.
Thank you. I feel very welcome. And thank you for the positive, thank you for your view. And thank you for like just preaching to me just now. That literally decided my day, literally.
Awesome. You're the best, man. This is how cool is this?
This is amazing, definitely. And wow. Life really has a way of like showing you different angles. And it'll show you the doors you can open up and you never know where you're gonna find.
And it's those little things, right? You said it was a note in a chat and you're like, I'm not even sure why I'm getting on this. And you're clicking it. It's like, because you had to share.
Yes.
Dude.
Definitely had to. It was just a sign. So they told me. I was reading a book. I was taking notes. And it was, I don't know what it was. I went on my phone. I saw Telegram. Let me answer you. So I had to go on Zoom to hear people out. And that's when my accountability partner told me, I'm not even going to talk to them. I'm calling my friend. Because what you just told me, she told me something just like that. People don't have too much to give to people. And she just told me not to give. She tells me not to give that up. Just keep going. At the end of the day, like, who can stop me? It's only myself. And that's definitely true.
So, and nobody can stop us. We need to have our source. So December 18th, 2018, 382 episodes ago, I started this call because I used to call this Get Out of My Effing Way. Fearful, frightened, fatigued, or most people thought it was the F we all thought it was. I changed it this year to Daily Awakening because for a year of it, it may not have been the draw. It was a pushback, but I had to get out of my own way. And I was literally shaking when I did my Facebook Live that said, I'm starting a call tomorrow. I don't care who's here at 6:30 in the morning. And all of a sudden it was like, here we are now, 382 episodes later, over a year, over probably 500 hours of conversations.
Man, gotta go
you know what one of the best days is? Yesterday was an amazing day. But you know what another amazing day is? You show up today. I'm serious. You show up today, this source, this band of armies, this band of misfits that's all of a sudden showing up. There's this new warrior that shows up and it's giving us guidance and suggestions. Listen, this is why we're all here. What we got to do, that's up to each of us. But why we're here is because we're looking for this source. We're looking for this community of places where do I go? Where do I go throw my bucket into the well so that I can leave with something on a daily basis? There's 63 folks here. I'm getting 63 hearts and loves and joys coming back. Every one of you, I hope, is realizing that you're a part of this. You're making all of this happen. And when we go out and we see the Anayas, could you imagine if Anaya didn't have a chance to take us all to Wonderland? Gina, good morning. I see your hand up, Simply Gigi. Thanks, Anthony. You're the best, brother.
Thank you.
How cool is it?
Yeah, so that was powerful words, definitely. And yo, this, as I said, they definitely like everyone's got to be positive. And like how Shawn said, wow, I don't even know what to say anymore because I'm just mind blown. I see how you motivate people. You keep them shut.
We're spreading the word. I think it's one of the words, but we're spreading the word. Gina, you there? I see your hands up, girl.
Yeah, I didn't unmute myself.
Okay.
Good, everybody. So I kind of wanted to share.
Smile. Look at that. Just hold on. Everybody just bask in that smile. Oh, look at those nails. You go, girl. And that hair. I just want to put her in my pocket.
Okay, so a friend of mine, she texted me yesterday and she was like, she asked me, how do I get rid of fear and doubt when it comes to pursuing my dreams? And in the back of my head, I thought, you're asking me this question? Like, I vent to you about the fears and all the doubts that I have, but you're coming to me asking me for advice. So I just kind of gave her like some tips and tricks on some things that I do, but it's just surprising to me that she's reaching out to me for help with this of all things.
So Gina, listen carefully. We've got Google, we've got Amazon, we've got all of this stuff. And here's the thing. 99% of the people out there are looking for the how.
Mm-hmm.
They can Google the heck out. She could have Googled the heck out of how to remove fear and doubt. You know how many millions of pages would have showed up from blogs and videos and everything else? This is important. This is a powerful experience. This is a powerful example of why people are looking for you. And I say you, every one of you. They were looking for Gina. This friend was looking for Gina saying, how do you do it? Because they haven't figured it out. They can Google the heck out of anything. But you know why they connect with us? Is because they can't get us on any Google search engine. And they believe that when they ask the how to somebody, they figure you have it figured out half a step better than they do.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, does Anaya's story from yesterday, does she really understand Wonderland? Here's the thing I hope that, and I pray, and I've been praying every chance I could, every time I think of it, that she never ever loses Wonderland. Angie didn't lose Wonderland. She forgot where it was.
Mm-hmm.
This person who was asking you about fear and doubt, ask her to just pay attention to 10 breaths. In this moment, we can choose joy or we can choose misery. Ask her to pay attention to just 10 breaths. What were the thoughts that run through her head? And you could do this while on the phone with her. You could do this while just texting back and forth. Say, do me a favor. Here's how you deal with that, because she's looking for a house. She's looking on something outside. There's not a single thing outside that can help her on the inside. Where's fear and doubt? Because if everybody looked at her, they'd be going, there's no fear and doubt around you. I've been looking. I can't see nothing. All I see is you and your clothes and your beautiful home that you're in. And the fact that you're here, there, and the other. You got a phone. You got probably one of the latest models of phones. It looks like your life's all together. How could you have fear and doubt? Because it's not on the outside. It's where? It's on the inside. When people ask the how, they're looking for outside solutions. When we get them to experience the why, we're starting to move them onto the inside solutions. So go back to somebody who we've talked about on these calls, Noah St. John, a buddy of mine who wrote the book. Oh my gosh, I just forgot it. Hold on. I'll think of it in a second. It'll come to me. In this book, he talks about affirmations, not affirmation. Affirmations are, I'm so grateful now that I'm happy and grateful that and we fill in the blank. Those are affirmations, affirming. Affirmations is where we're changing it up a little bit. So if you were to ask her, so if I were to ask you, hey, Gina, let me ask you, why do you believe, what makes you so good at giving her a positive response? See, if we start, the brain does two things. It looks for two things and two things only. If you look at all of the documentaries and everything else, at somewhere they will weave it in, whether it be Joe Dispenza or anybody else who talks about it, Wallace D. Wattles, Napoleon Hill, Earl Nightingale, whenever they talk about the brain and patterns, there's usually two things that show up. One, will it kill me? The fight or flight. Second is, how fast can I recognize the pattern? That's why when we talked on Saturday about social mapping and I showed the map, a physical map of a room, when you go into a social environment, you map out your room. You can do it mentally instantly. As soon as you walk in, you can see where the safe zones are, the social zones, all of these things. Secret code of success. And why are you so good at being such a good friend? See, if we ask that question versus why is she asking me? Because you know what the brain's going to come up with if you ask, why is she asking me? You're going to come up with 1,001 reasons why you don't think you're qualified, because that's your history. The second one is that if you ask it, why am I so good at it? The brain's going to go, well, let's figure that out. I care about her. I like her. I want her to have a better experience. I want her to feel a little bit better in life. I want her to do all of these things. You'll come up with 1,001 reasons why you're good at being a good friend. So if you sat quietly and listen to why you're the one. So you could ask the question, why am I the most qualified to answer this question for my dear friend? You'll be amazed at all of a sudden what you might come up with. And you know what? When she says, how do you deal with fear and doubt? Maybe all she's asking is that you say, hey, listen, I don't know where your fear and doubt is from, but when I'm with you, you make me stronger. I'm honored that you asked me, but you're the one I look to give me strength. We just changed the story. We changed the words in the story. Same story. It's you and her together. It's you and her friends. Ask her the antithesis of that, the opposite of that. Whatever her name is, Sally. Sally, let me ask you, what do you think makes you strong and powerful? Because the law of opposites says, right? Wallace D. Wattles, the 7 universal laws. One of the laws of opposites says is the law of polarity. If I'm 1,000 miles away from you, without really going into too much detail, how far away do you think you are from me? 1,000 miles. It's called the law of polarity. And so if somebody's thinking, well, I'm in fear and doubt, what absolutely has to exist in the same breath of fear and doubt? Strength and courage. Dr. Wayne Dyer changed the way we look at things, and the things we look at change. Does that help, Gina?
It does help. Thank you.
Okay, so, but here's the next level of questioning for me. Why does it help?
Because it helps me too.
Okay. How are you feeling right now?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, good's okay. Good's if you're having spaghetti. How do we get you to great? Okay. So why are you this amazing soul? What was, if I could, what is even the stronger reason you asked the question? Is it to just answer that question for her? Was it to be able to be into more service? Was it really I wonder how I get better? What do you think was behind that question that you just asked?
I think it's kind of like all the above. But
Okay.
it's like, I know she reached out to me, but it's like, I don't even know how to do it for me to be able to help you, because I still struggle with that.
And you shared that with her?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what was the dialogue that went after that?
It was just like I gave her like tips and tricks to help me.
Okay. And how did, so you keep when you talk, you're saying your hands going here. So you're curious about the words that you're using. So has anybody ever said to you, you're a pretty amazing soul?
Other than you, not really.
Okay. So is it okay if I say it to you again? You're a pretty amazing soul.
Yes.
And the fact that you show up here on this call asking for help, how to get better at helping another soul. Do you think maybe that's a prerequisite for being like an angel in somebody's life?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you weren't even thinking of it that way, were you?
Yeah, and the crazy thing is someone did say I was like an angel in their life, but I kind of brushed it off and it went over my head. But you saying that just
Yeah.
reminded me.
Listen, that just poured into me. How did I know to say that? And you're going, well, somebody said that to me and I kind of brushed it off. Why do you think I was given to me to say to you right now? Because you are. You are. We need you, girl. We need you in this. I need you. I'm going to be very selfful in this moment. I need you. The fact that you're here, the fact that you continue to show up, and the fact that you now get to give a gift called awareness, called awakening, called a hug, called a social hug, a virtual hug, a text hug, whatever it is, you get to be in a connection with somebody. It goes back to what Michael said. Somebody has a connection with you. They're trying to figure out how to make it deeper. Because we don't ask people we don't want to be around. Hey, listen, help me get better at life so I can piss you off. Right? So this connection, it goes back to what Michael said this morning. He goes, I'm finding my connection with God, and I'm finally creating a connection I can understand. That's all this is a better understanding of the connection that the two of you have. And the fact that you shared with your vulnerability and your frailness going, well, I have it happen to me all the time too. And here's some of the things I do. How you feeling now?
Better.
Yeah.
Great. Because you always have like, I swear you can always do this. You're the only person that can do this to me.
Well, here's what I know. The struggles that you've heard, the struggles you've been through, the struggles you will see, the tears you will shed. The tears you shed are what's going to water the next story of your life. Right? We did some gardening this weekend. We planted a bunch of plants, tomatoes and cucumbers and peas and all of that stuff. And it was just amazing to do all of that. And then there was this nice little slight rain that came through this morning again, right? And the water that's been cleaned by the sun and God's hand and all of that stuff. And it just fell gently, right? It's the true Irish blessing. May the rains fall gently upon your crops. And I'm just sitting there in this glory and grace this morning going, man, we could have not planted. We could have stopped planting halfway through and there'd be plants. So here's what I'm going to say. You're planting right now. When somebody shows up and they ask you for your words, right? What a gift you have to give your words. We had Anthony this morning showing up. This crop from somewhere, this plant we didn't even know we were getting to put in our garden, shows up and speaks to us and shares with us. Y'all are amazing. What a great morning. Shammy, go ahead. Good morning, Shammy.
Good morning. I wanted to speak to the whole Wonderland story.
Yeah.
A little bit of a backstory. I've been with my in-laws for a few months.
Yeah.
And I actually thought like by this time I would be moving out. But in my journal, I've been like one of the things that I've been asking for is my own home. And I love my in-laws, especially my mother-in-law, but I'm not like we're a big family and we're all in one room. And I go through some issues with my partner, like we're not on the same page all the time, and since I'm in their house, they kind of like find out about everything. It's just, you know, kind of the backstory. So it's not like I'm the most comfortable situation.
Right.
So I kind of like, I was 100% sure that by now I would be moving out. But in my journal, I've been journaling that I would, you know, that I want my own home. And my mother-in-law of about a week or two ago was convincing us that she wants to help us get our own home. She's like, you know, you guys need to stop renting. Renting is actually even more expensive. You know, I want my grandkids to have a stable home. I don't want you guys moving around. I'm gonna do everything in my power to get you guys, you know, help you guys get a house. And even if it's on my name at first, we can refinance in a year or two and change it to both of you guys' names or the kids' names, however, because she's like, she knows that we go through a lot of issues, so she's putting the kids first, like they're most important, and it's their home.
Yep.
And she's like, you know, whatever you feel comfortable with, Shammy. If we have to get a lawyer and get some sort of document, if we have to put it on their name, or later on it could be the half and half, both of you guys' name, or you know, whatever the situation may be. But that's her focus. She wants us to have a home instead of renting,
Yep.
which to me was like, you know, that's what I've been putting in my journal, one of the things that I want. But the thing is, I feel so confined in this room, and it's already been like several months. I just don't really want to be here anymore. It's so uncomfortable. And with the whole, like, this past few weeks, my mind's been like racing, like, what should I do? Because I just, if this would be a process, you know, it would be another 3 to 6 months that I would have to be here while we go through the whole buying process. A minimum of 3 to 6 months, if you know, depending on how quick we find a home and all of that, you know. So it's just, my mind's been racing, like, what should I do? I know she wants to help us, but should I wait? We own our own home in Puerto Rico. We left after Hurricane Maria, but we actually own our own home over there, which has kind of been, nobody's living it. So it's like, you know, we kind of have to get back to it, because if not, nobody's taking care of it. So that's what I thought, you know, would end up happening too. Like, what I want, I've been wanting to go back to Puerto Rico, but nobody else wants me to go back to Puerto Rico, because they just say you shouldn't raise your kids over there. There's more opportunities over here. So my mind's been like, you know, what should I do? And I've been feeling a little bit, you know, stressed and really confined in this room. And then hearing the Wonderland story yesterday just made me feel like that's where I have to live in at the moment to be less stressed.
So Shammy, do me a favor. What time is it?
8:45.
Okay. And what does the floor feel like you're sitting on?
It's carpet, comfortable.
Okay. Take a big breath in. Exhale. Take one more big breath in. In this moment, you have a choice, misery or joy. Which would you like to start with?
Joy.
Okay. Could you be outside right now under a bridge?
Yes.
Yes. Is that a place you'd want to be?
No.
No. So is where you're at not, it may not be the best, but it's better than that, isn't it? I'm asking you to, just because you're comparing to everything you're not, I want you, in this comparison, we wind up compromising our own greatness, our own success. All of these things that you're saying, listen, God works in pretty mysterious ways. You could find a house in a week. You could find a house that's a FSBO, that's for sale by owner, and he's like, here, just take it. Move in, give me first month's rent, and we'll figure out the paperwork while you're in there. You're setting up the universe to make it 3 to 6 months. You're setting up to all of these challenges that, oh, yes. Hello, baby. So what I'm going to ask you to do is just take a few breaths every now and then and get comfortable with the moment, because all of these things that you shared, they're all important, yet none of them can be addressed because in this moment, you're not here. I get it. I totally get it. In 2004, when the hurricanes came through Florida, through the center of Florida, Charlie, Francis, and Jean, 3 hurricanes in the side of a month went over to the top of our house. I became homeless. We had Mason. Mason was just a baby. I get it. We were staying at friends' house. We were couch surfing. The insurance didn't pay us a penny for 3 years. I get it. We were homeless. We lost all of our stuff. I'm making phone calls, building my business in the air conditioning of a truck, because that's the only place I could make phone calls from in Florida that wasn't absolutely stifling, because the power didn't even come back on. So I say all of this to say, we've all had our crosses. Some of us still have some bigger crosses like me, I'm sure, to carry. But in this moment, could it be worse? In this moment, could it be better?
Yes.
In this moment, all there is this moment.
That's why I thought if I have to live in Wonderland for the next 3 months if I'm
Absolutely.
make it through this.
Listen, you're like the head misfit of Wonderland. People see your smile, they hear your joy. There's women on here right now that absolutely would love, like, if they could transplant your hair. There's things that you have that are just absolutely, you're this sexy, gorgeous, amazing peanut of a soul, this mountain of a soul inside of this little peanut of a body that's got the cutest little sexiest voice and has this desire to want to help. And this thing that when you throw that smile, let me see the smile again. When you see that smile, it's absolutely, you melt away people's fears. So the fact that you showed up enhanced all of our lives. And it's okay. So here's the thing, say, it's okay for me to receive.
It's okay for me to receive.
Yeah, see, that's a little hard to say, isn't it? Because you think you got to do more. You think you got to be more. You're a mom to, like, what, 74 kids? How many children do you have? 3.
3 times 6. I don't know what that equals. But.
Yeah. So you're this amazing mom, and you're doing things at an age that most people can't. You've been given this experience in life to be the test. You're being put through the test for the testimony. I love you. You're amazing. I can't imagine my world without you now that you're in it. And you're just this incredible soul. So again, breathe a little bit, right? Breathe. Make sure you take in some deep breaths. Faith and courage. Exhale fear and doubt. Faith and courage. Exhale fear and doubt. Bless her.
I know breathing is like one of the most important keys to changing mind, body, state, but sometimes we forget to breathe.
Yes, we do. Right? We forget to do that. Right? Mm-hmm. And when we were all created from the clay and we were breathed into life. Mm-hmm. Angie, I saw Vega EM. We're going to get to you in a second, but because Angie I think there's something, the connection with Wonderland here. Go ahead, Angie.
Yes, you already know. But Shammy, first I want to say, like, your courage is amazing. How you come out here and just share about what you're struggling with, which is such a strength to have, because most of us, we shy away from sharing what we're struggling with. So I give you a lot of props for that. It's amazing. But also with just hearing a little bit about your story, I was going to attach it to Wonderland and how your desire of wanting a house and just moving to a new environment. I just wanted to say if you could try going to Wonderland with your kids and ask them, how would your house look like? What would you want in that house? And I feel like you having that moment in Wonderland with your kids and putting it out into the atmosphere, not only you speaking into it, but I think it's going to also fulfill you. It's going to take you to that moment of happiness and joy from all the things you're struggling with and you're experiencing and you're going through. And having that moment in Wonderland with your kids, I feel like it's just going to fulfill you because you're giving yourself that moment to be in that moment of happiness. You're creating that happiness in Wonderland. So try to have those moments with your kids. Because now I'm starting to do it with my kids. I don't have kids, but with like my kids at work, have that moment of, okay, let's play the game of Wonderland. Let's see where it's gonna take us. Let's see how our house is gonna look. Let's see if there's a big yard, if there's a pool. Like have that moment and experience Wonderland. And I would love to hear it. I would love to hear how it goes and what happens.
Yeah, I
That's
think
what I'd
that's
say.
yeah, I think that's awesome. That's what I'm thinking. Like yesterday when you guys were talking about it, I thought it was so beautiful, but I didn't really even like connect it to myself. And then today it was really hard to wake up. And yesterday it's like my mind's just been racing like on what should I do. And then today I'm just like, I need to relax, breathe, meditate on it, and just take myself to Wonderland.
Yes.
And with my kids and picture that house that I want, which somehow is coming to me. It's just amazing how one thing connects. I always feel like one thing connects to another, and these phone calls, it connects to all of us in different ways.
The fact that Angie is on a bus right now, mentoring, and she was just absolutely talking about something that just absolutely you couldn't stop her with 1,000 horses right now from telling her Wonderland story. Where a week ago, it wasn't even a part that she would barely come onto the call. She'd show up as this meek little, hey, Shawn, hi, I love you, and I got a question for you. Now she's like, yo, Shammy, listen, girl, you better get your Wonderland on. And it's like, I love this. I love this. Oh my God.
The little peanuts coming out of her shell.
Oh my gosh, exactly. And when that seed comes out and it gets planted, it's going to turn into a grove, a forest of amazing things. I love it. Viga EM, go ahead. You had your hand raised.
Hey, Shawn, how are you guys?
Outstanding.
So, I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you guys that's on this call right now. I haven't gotten on this call in a little while. Like I get on it in a few days, but Angie always reminds me to get on it. So Angie, shout out to you.
Love you.
I love you too, girl. So, like today's call with Shammy speaking, it really it got to me. Like it really even brought a tear in my eye because, I'm not a mother, but I can only imagine that situation of uncomfortability that you feel because I'm not a mother, but I have felt that uncomfortability of being in somebody else's house and not being able to do what you were originally doing in your own home, right? And me personally, I got into this business, and before this business, I used to always complain about my life. I mean, I live in a 1-bedroom apartment with my parents right now. And I'm 26 years old. So I have a lot of things to complain about in my life. But as of 5 months ago, when I started this journey, I stopped complaining and I just literally started aiming for the end result because I know that what God has in store for me is so much bigger than my problems. The results at the end is going to be way bigger than what I'm complaining about right now. And what I used to complain about. So, I just want to give you a piece of advice to Shammy, just aim for that end result. That's your Wonderland. Keep thinking about that and wake up so happy to know that you're going to be in a better place. So that's literally what keeps me going, just knowing that I'm going to be in a better place than what I am today. So again, I just want to say thank you to all of you guys. This call was very emotional for me and I really appreciate all of you. Shawn, you're amazing.
Vega, thank you so much. Love you tons.
Thank
Sammy,
you.
look at that. You're teaching and
You're
mentoring
welcome.
and in our vulnerability, we get to help others see their own. So that's awesome.
I think that's when we most do that.
Yeah.
In our vulnerability.
Listen,
Thank you
I'm
guys.
I'm looking at you right now. I'm looking at you right now in your picture right there. I can't imagine anything being, you're this perfect, amazing soul. So where's all the challenges? Because we don't see them on the outside. You're gorgeous. Your hair. I just want to I want to squeeze you and squish you. So on the outside, you're perfect. Where's the challenges that all exist for all of us? The best way out of our situation is on the inside. Go back into breathing, just breathing. If you're in the moment, when you realize in this moment, it's joy or misery in this moment, there's some amazing things that are happening in this moment. Very cool. Julio, good morning, Julio.
Morning.
Good morning.
Hey, how's everybody doing today?
We're all outstanding now.
Hey, so listening to everybody and having heard what the idea of Wonderland, one call you made not that while ago, it sort of reminded me back to it, where you talked to a lady about living on the beach. I don't know if you remember, and her sipping on blue drinks every day.
Yeah.
Living by that. So in a way, I felt like that connected to what this idea of Wonderland is. And also, I had one more slipping out of my mind. But that's pretty much all I wanted to say.
Well, awesome. Yeah, and again, stories all relate. We all find our Wonderland, whether it's a blue drink or a house or a puppy in the yard. But it's what it comes down to from a psychological standpoint, from a growth standpoint, is a phenomenon called visualization. If we're not controlling our visualization, what we're seeing in our mind's eye, it's being controlled for us. This is why we see the memes and we see the phrases. If you're not working on your dream, you're working on somebody else's, right? People who are trying to figure things out are usually working for the people who have the dream. So you're absolutely right, Julio. And the more time we take to start to create our own Wonderland, our own dream, our own blue drinks on the beach, it's important. But we get so busy being busy, we never get busy enough to take care of us.
Yeah,
I appreciate you sharing that.
And also, I had pumped the gas the other day nearby, and I told this lady that works at the gas station, get on your calls. She was like, I need to do what you're doing, because she asked me how I was feeling, and I told her if that one was better, it would be illegal. And she was like, okay. But
Listen,
I love you, Shawn.
Love you
Thank
too,
you.
brother. I appreciate you. Here's the thing. She said, I have to do what you do. That's all Anaya is. Anaya didn't ask anybody yesterday in the Wonderland story that we heard. She didn't ask anybody. She said, do you want to go? That's what I do. And we're all now like going, well, Shammy's I've got to go to Wonderland. I got to go to Wonderland. Cool. Hey, Stacy. Stacy, head queen. Well, when you get back here, just let me know, and we'll hear your question or comment or thought. RBP, what are your thoughts, young lady?
Ooh, y'all are good today. Let me tell you that right now. I've been sitting here taking notes, and I've been listening to everybody, and there's kind of a reoccurring theme in my head. And what I keep writing down is, you know, a lot of people would say Wonderland is just this illusion. And I think quite the opposite. I think Wonderland is the truth. And what we see before us are obstacles and the chaos, like Shammy was talking about, and the inability to relax or take a breath. I ask, what illusion is causing that? So I'm sitting here looking at you as, okay, I haven't watched TV in probably about 5 years. So I don't know when this show was on last, but there was this show quite a few years ago, I guess, at least 5 probably, that this guy came on, this magician came on, and he had this mask on, and he had a voice changer, and he showed all the magic tricks and how they worked, all the illusions and how they worked. And it was behind the scenes footage, and he had to cover himself up because he didn't want any of the well-known magicians finding out who he was and getting mad at him. But he revealed all the illusions, and it was all these amazing, amazing illusions. And I loved watching that show because I always want to know, what is it that creates the false reality that I believe in, that my eyes go, no, 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 see, we saw it, it's real. What is it that's creating that illusion? So to me, today's call is like Shawn is that masked magician who is revealing all the illusions that we think are so real that keep us from seeing the truth. It's that whole smoke and mirrors. And he reveals to us, he moves the smoke and he shows the mirrors. And we all have this moment to go, oh my gosh. But you know, 20 minutes after I would turn the TV off, I would look at my husband and go, how did they do that one trick? And for the life of us, we could not remember how they did that trick. And we didn't record the show, and we were like, oh. So the next time I saw the trick, what did I do? I believed it, because I'm like, man, that might not be magic. That might actually be real. And then I would see that episode again, and I'd be like, oh, that's how they did it. So Anaya actually, with Shawn's voice on the call, has revealed the illusion. You know, here Shammy sits in a home, taken care of, loved enough that somebody wants to step out and help beyond what normal people would help. But the illusion she sees is being confined and being stuck. Not that those feelings aren't real, but you have that illusion, and you see the illusion instead of seeing the truth. And the truth is, your babies are taken care of. You are healthy and you are loved, and you're able to love your babies. And that's just one. I wrote down, where's the other one I wrote down? I wrote down for Gina. I was watching Gina, and she's sitting there talking to you, and I wrote down, what illusion is keeping you from seeing your greatness? Because we see it, but you have this illusion, and you start kind of sinking back. And I'm like, what illusion has caused her to not step into the greatness that we see? And what's crazy is when it's your illusion and the illusion is meant for you, you got to have somebody else show you the smoke and mirrors. You just have to, because that it's just deception is what it is. And you're just being deceived of your greatness. You're being deceived of your joy and the kindness that people are extending to you. You're being deceived of how you can speak into people. And that's why there's two things that really stood out to me on the opposite end of this was Nano and Anthony. The one thing that made them different is they showed up ready to give and receive. They were both ready to receive whatever they needed to receive. They had seen the smoke, they had seen the mirrors, and they're like, enough. That's why Nano is who he is. His $1 million question, I wrote it down. I was like, his $1 million question was, show me how. Help me here. Super simple, easy questions, and we try to complicate it because we're seeing an illusion. So I would challenge you today, what is it? Who is it that can help you see the illusion? And what is the illusion that keeps tripping you? Because every one of you, you all know it. I'm gonna have to shed this robe. I'm getting hot talking about this. Every one of you know there's something inside of you that's meant for something greater. I know it. I know it about each one of y'all. I can hear it. Shawn can hear it. And we see it. So I would challenge you to sit with the idea of what illusion has held me captive and what illusion keeps me from going beyond this point, and how can I get past that? And there's all kinds of books, there's all kinds of things. There's sitting with that, saying a prayer, just like Anthony said, saying a prayer. He got here today, and that's made all the difference in my life and everyone's life. And y'all know I lead a Bible study on Thursdays, and a girlfriend of mine, I was talking to her about the illusion that's in her life, and she's a little crazy like me. And there's an old song, what is it, 5 or 6 years old, Black and Yellow. Y'all know the song Black and Yellow, Black and Yellow? Y'all know that song. Surely to God, y'all don't need to have me sing that rest of that song. Y'all know that song. So after our Bible study, instead of singing Black and Yellow, she said she found herself driving around going, smoke and mirrors, smoke and mirrors, smoke and mirrors. So y'all listen to that over and over and over in your head. And when something comes up against you and it's stopping you from stepping into your calling, sing that song over and over. Say a prayer, ask God, reveal the illusion and show me your truth and your greatness, because He will direct you, and then you'll step into it. And if you need some help, get back on the call or find somebody that will expose that illusion and speak that greatness back over you. So that's what I heard.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Brittany, I see your hand up, girl.
Yeah, I wanted to comment on something that Rhonda just said that took me back to a conversation that I had with a friend before. We would talk about heaven and we would talk about hell. And, you know, we were just conceptualizing what that actually is. And what we concluded was that heaven or hell, as you already say, joy or misery already exists here right now in this space or in this time on this earth. And what, you know, regardless of religious or spiritual belief, it may just be that people have created this ideal of a better or worse, you know, to kind of like justify or punish themselves for the things that they're doing, to kind of like bypass or to like make excuses for their behavior or reward themselves. I'm like put it into words exactly right now, but everything is based on perception, you know, and we say this all the time. We hear this literally with every single mentor. If you change the way that you look at things, the things that you look at will change. And we get so caught up in griping about things and complaining about things and not actually fully appreciating things for what they are, and understanding that ultimately we don't control anything and we're just here to play our role, that we kind of get beside ourselves and we start to make our circumstances worse, and we begin to fester in this feeling of unsettlement and unrest. I don't know if that makes sense.
Well, the thing that I heard, Brittany, is if heaven and hell exist and they exist in this moment, why are people trying to put themselves into a better hell? Versus the lowest of heavens.
Right. Like it's so interesting to see, even like getting here on these calls and even with my friends and maybe sometimes with myself, but seeing certain people speak on certain situations, and it's just like, why do you want to think about this like this all the time, knowing that it makes you feel negatively? Why do you want to continue to do that? Like, do you even try to see the good or see where it is, anything, any type of positive in any situation. Like, why must you continue to hurt yourself? That's very interesting to me.
Yep. It's why we need each other to be able to see the smoke and mirrors. Very cool. Great perspective. I love it. Hey, Stacy, I see you're back.
Yes, I am back. Peace and love, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. So going back, thank you, Brittany, for sharing that. And I'm so proud of everyone for speaking up today. I usually a loudmouth, but I love it when I'm able to sit back and listen without having a response and really take in what everyone is saying so that we can continue to receive, but also it leads me to give back. I didn't even plan on speaking today, but listening to Shami and her situation, what bravery, girlfriend. Honestly, your story resembles a lot of my current situation, and I haven't shared it on this call at all, really, or with many people, with the anxiousness I have and wanting to relocate, wanting a home of my own. So I really relate to you, and you keep holding on, girlfriend. Something that has definitely helped me is Shawn has reminded me since the day I met him on the 1st of this year, do less to be more. And also inhale faith and courage, and exhale all of your doubt and fear. And it's so simple, but breathing is something Shawn is teaching me is so important. Almost every time I speak and I go to share my story or talk about it, he has to remind me to breathe. And today, this morning, I woke up about 4:30 this morning, was doing my daily reading. And today I just wanted to share with you what it was. The simple quote was, keep breathing. And it says, what good advice for indispensable women and men. Breathing is basic. It keeps us alive. Yet we run until we're gasping for air, suffering in order to get everything done. Short, shallow breathing is a sign that we are being crushed under the weight of our lives. Breathe slowly. Notice how gently this process occurs. Breathe again and again and again. And the affirmation for today is, I know how to breathe. And the affirmation, why am I so good at controlling my breath? And I really wanted to share that with you, Shami, and all of you, because I read it this morning and it hit me, but now it has touched my heart in a whole nother way.
Wow. God's way of staying anonymous, called coincidences. I love it. Stacy, thank you for sharing that. That's so powerful. And you do not have to include us in that indispensable women and men. It is indispensable women. So yeah, I appreciate that. I don't know if the quote said that, but you are absolutely indispensable. I need you. The world needs you. I love that. What an amazing story. Well, there you go, folks. Breathing. It all comes back to what a 7-year-old could teach us, right? Let's go to Wonderland and let's all just breathe a little bit easier. Anthony, thank you for being here this morning. Michael, thank you. Nato, thank you. Thank you for everybody that shared. Manny, love you all. Appreciate you all so very much. Y'all are absolutely incredible. If there's I don't know what's higher than cloud 9. I don't know if there's a cloud 10, but I'm definitely always on that at the end of these calls. And I appreciate each and every one of you for helping lift me there. But also in that, remember, I allow myself to be lifted. Allow yourself to be lifted today a little bit. Make sure that each day that you realize that there's people out there who want to give. This is for a whole nother call, but remember this. As much as Jesus just wanted to be there to be in service to all of us, to be there to be the word, to be the example, he still let them throw parades for him. Sometimes people need to acknowledge you by saying thank you and that they love you. Appreciate y'all. I'm Shawn Murphy, founder of Mental Profits. I'll see y'all where? at the next event. Y'all tell each other goodbye and you love each other and have a great Monday.
I love you.
Have a great Monday. Love
Bye,
everyone.
everybody.
Love you guys. Have a great Monday.
Guys.
Hey guys,
Guys,
have a
have a
great
great
day.
Monday,
Love
bro.
you. Bye guys, love you all. Have a great
Love
day.
you, my misfit family. Everybody have a blessed day.
Love everybody. Have a blessed day.
Love y'all.
Love.
Ronda.